Here's something that might surprise you, Willene. Studies show that the average American spends over $1,000 on Christmas gifts each year, but the most influential gift in human history was wrapped in nothing more than simple cloth strips.
That's such an interesting contrast, and what really strikes me is how this story of ultimate simplicity has shaped gift giving traditions for over 2 millennia.
When we look at John 3:16, we're seeing this radical concept that completely transformed how people thought about divine interaction with humanity. Instead of demanding sacrifices, here was a deity giving the ultimate gift and doing it in the most humble way possible.
That really makes me think about how different this was from other religious traditions of the time. Most cultures expected their gods to appear in grand, dramatic ways.
Exactly, and historical records show that in Roman culture, divine manifestations were typically associated with powerful rulers or dramatic natural events. So, this story of a divine presence appearing as a vulnerable infant would have been absolutely revolutionary to ancient listeners.
That historical context really adds another layer to understanding why this story had such an impact. How do you think this influenced early gift giving traditions?
Well, archaeological evidence suggests that early Christian communities actually started practicing regular charitable giving as a direct response to this story. By the 4th century CE, we see documented evidence of organized gift giving during the winter season, specifically tied to commemorating this event.
That's fascinating. So, our modern Christmas traditions have really deep historical roots.
And what's particularly interesting is how this concept of love made visible has influenced various cultures throughout history. For instance, medieval European societies developed elaborate gift giving ceremonies that would last for 12 days, reflecting different aspects of this original story.
That reminds me of how different communities today still put their own unique spin on the celebration while keeping that central theme of transformative love.
Right? And recent sociological studies have shown that even in increasingly secular societies, this pattern of generosity tied to the Christmas season remains remarkably consistent. Research indicates that charitable giving increases by an average of 42% during December compared to other months.
That's such an interesting statistic. It really shows how deeply embedded these patterns of giving have become in our cultural DNA.
And when we look at global giving patterns, we see this remarkable phenomenon where the Christmas season triggers increased generosity across cultural and religious boundaries. Studies from the World Giving Index show that even in non Christian nations, December often marks a peak in charitable activities.
So, what you're saying is that this ancient story continues to influence modern behavior in measurable ways.
Exactly. And behavioral economists have actually studied this phenomenon. They found that exposure to narratives of sacrificial giving, like the Christmas story, tends to increase pro social behavior by about 25% compared to control groups.
That really shows how powerful storytelling can be in shaping human behavior and social norms.
And what's particularly fascinating is how this pattern of love made visible continues to evolve in our digital age. We're seeing new forms of giving emerge, from crowdfunding campaigns to social impact investing, all essentially following the same template of making abstract love concrete through action.
That's such an interesting evolution from simple swaddling cloths to modern expressions of generosity.
Recent psychological research suggests that this connection between receiving and giving might actually be hardwired into our brains. Studies show that witnessing acts of generosity triggers increased activity in the same neural networks associated with experiencing personal rewards.
Well, that certainly explains why this pattern of receiving and giving continues to resonate so strongly across different cultures and time periods.
And looking toward the future, we're seeing this principle being applied in innovative ways to address global challenges. From sustainable development initiatives to social enterprise models, this basic template of love becoming visible through concrete action continues to inspire new solutions.
That really brings it full circle from an ancient story to modern applications that might help shape our collective future.
And perhaps that's the most remarkable aspect of this whole narrative, Willene. Its ability to continue generating new expressions of generosity while maintaining its essential message about love, needing to become visible in the world. The story keeps finding new ways to resonate with each generation's unique challenges and opportunities.